Good evening and welcome to John Cain Reserve, where it's round 10 of the Victorian Premier League and it's Northcote City entertaining the Oakleigh Cannons. It's a huge game for both teams. Oakleigh currently sitting in second position on the Victorian Premier League table, and they're a huge 9 points adrift from Dandenong, which collected maximum of points again on Saturday, where they absolutely smashed Green Gully by 3-0. And as for Northcote, they've been the surprise packet to the competition, currently sitting in 5th position and a great chance to leapfrog the likes of Hume City and potentially jump into 4th position on top of the table. Now, before we do go to the team sheets, we are going to observe a minute's silence. Unfortunately, Jim Pasikas, the father of George and John Pasikas, a former Northcote City player, passed away. Condolences to him and his family. And good to see a minute's silence deserved for Jim Pasikas. May he rest in peace. And looking forward to a really good game here between Oakleigh and Northcote. And history suggests these games are absolutely littered with goals. Who could forget this time last year when these two teams squared off at John Cain Memorial Reserve 4-3, with Oakleigh scoring a winner in the 92nd minute. And hopefully there's plenty of goals and entertainment again on show this afternoon. But let's turn our attentions to the lineups. And Northcote City in their home blue kit. In goals, number 22, Chris Petropoulos. 2, Adriano Chapetta. 3, Kristen Constantinides. 5, Brad Treloar. 7, Dean Piemonte. 8, James Calafatidis. 10, Alex Royas. 11, Jonathan Vulgaris. 12, Hayden D'Agostino. 16, Paul Savio. And number 20, Paris O'Kay. And for Oakleigh Cannons, away in the white kit, in goals, replacing Daniel Neesham, number 1, Luis Italiano. 4, Jeremy Walker. 5, Stephen Gray. Number 7, Bono Obrodovich. 10, Ricky Diaco. 11, Jesse Krinčević. 12, Luke Walker. 19, Goran Zoric. 20, Ari Drakos. 21, Hayden Doyle. And number 25, Daniel Dragicevic. And with a break in the Victorian Premier League last week, it was round 5 of the State Knockout Cup, and the Oakleigh Cannons in a bit of a shock. Lost 2-1 at home to the Altona Magic, Division 1 outfit, knocking off the Premier League opposition. And as for Northcote, well, they were knocked out. The reigning State Cup holders were knocked out back in round 4. And another shock indeed, losing to Morwell Pegasus here at John Cain Memorial Reserve by 1-0. But it's back on track. Both of these teams focusing on their Premier League campaigns halfway through the season, and both teams are beautifully positioned at a tilt towards a title. In particular, Oakleigh have been there or thereabouts the last few seasons. Last year's runners-up, losing in that memorable grand final in extra time to Green Gully. They'll be looking to go one step further. The new manager, Huskin Nedovich, has this team well drilled towards another tilt at a championship. And as for Northcote, well, many pundits, including I, thought they would be there at the lower end of the table, particularly losing the likes of Trent Rickson and the Trefiro brothers. They're doing amazing things as we kick off this game. Round 10, Victorian Premier League football coming to you live. Losing manager Salakis, the Trefiro brothers. Trent Rickson leaves a huge dent in his squad. Goran Lozanovski, Australian footballing legend, has done wonders with the Northcote City squad, sitting in 5th position. And as we mentioned, a great chance, depending on results, Hume City, who drew with the Southern Stars 1-1, and a bit of an upset too. We'll turn our attention to results throughout round 10 at a moment as Northcote City defend okay. Treloar. Lovely turn on the inside, buys some space. Royas. Here's Savio. Pass intended for the danger man, Kalafatidis, who absolutely put a bullet through South Melbourne in round 9 of the Victorian Premier League. And Northcote winning away at South Melbourne by a goal to nil. James Kalafatidis, the scorer in that game. It could be definitely a turning point in Northcote City season. In South Melbourne, who would have predicted, languishing at the moment in 8th position on the Victorian Premier League table, but it's a long season, just about to approach the halfway mark of it, and there are plenty of twists and tales remaining in the 2012 Victorian Premier League season. Northcote clearing deep. Okay, again, he's had plenty of the football early on. Walker. Positive start this from Northcote. Plenty of possession, but really haven't pressed into the Oakleigh half yet. The crowd building momentum, as is always the case at Northcote. Terrible conditions for football, freezing, and it was absolutely bucketing down, to say the least, half an hour ago. Thank heavens that's cleared. Now Oakleigh with a great chance. First set piece of the afternoon. Forge an attack on goal, and this man is a set piece specialist, Artie Drakos. Experienced Victorian Premier League footballer. Okay. And now the referee will ensure the 10 yards is given. And some tall timber there in the box, in particular Stephen Gray and Jesse Krinchevich. Drakos, the wall doing its job. Kalafatidis turning defender there for a moment. And easy pickings there for Petropoulos. Plays it quickly. Wanted the winger there, Piemonte, formerly of Pauline, Whittlesea. Dean Piemonte. Here he is again with the football. Fair challenge, but coming out worse for wear. Maybe Piemonte. Good to see him back up again, but he's still in a spot of bother from that previous clash. Paul Savio just checking things are okay. Savio on the inside. Wanted Royas. He's been great, Alex Royas, since making the move from the Bentley Greens last season. Lovely control there from Piemonte. And he had the winger wider had he spotted Vulgaris on the right. Looking sharp, Daniel Dragicevic on the counter for the Cannons. Walker. Northcote should clear, intercepted by Zorich. And Hayden D'Agostino clearing, but finding his clearance straight down the throat of an opponent. Goran Zorich. He's earned the free kick. That just tells you how cold it is. You don't see Ricky Diaco in gloves often. Diaco can finish from 20 yards. Curling ball, and he's found the back of the net. There you have it. That's exactly why he's executed that set piece. Ricky Diaco, sheer brilliance with that finish. Superbly executed, power and position, and absolutely through the defences of Chris Petropoulos. And Oakleigh find the best possible start After 6 minutes, Ricky Diaco from a set piece gift the Oakleigh Cannons the lead. It's Northcote City 0, Oakleigh Cannons 1. And that will certainly be on the highlight reel this week, that finish from Ricky Diaco, and I'm sure a contender for one of the goals of the year too. Superbly struck from Ricky Diaco. And we mentioned at the start of the match, both Northcote and Oakleigh love to entertain. We saw 7 goals the last time these two teams played last season. And now the Cannons, lovely back heel there. Diaco wanted Krinčević. And regardless of the leg, that goal would have stretched the defences of most goalkeepers. That was superbly struck from Ricky Diaco. And the Cannons, with the best possible start. And whilst we have a holding play, just to remind you, there are 3 other games. In fact, 2 other games currently being played. 3 overall for the afternoon. This one, Northcote and Oakleigh. But 2 underway as well between Heidelberg United and Moreland Zebras. To say that's a 6-point is an understatement. And also the Melbourne Knights and Richmond. And we'll keep you up to date with all the goals and scores around the grounds. And also jump on the Football Federation of Victoria's Facebook and Twitter pages. And track the latest news, scores, results and happenings. Ball whipped in, cleared this time by Chepetta. Royas. Here's Piemonte. Now, nothing much presenting itself up front. This needs to be precise, and that's exactly what it is. Okay, unbeknown to him, had time. Krinčević. This spells danger for Northcote. Well tracked there. Konstantinidis will combine with Petropoulos. And the wind definitely favouring the Cannons. Blowing from right to left of the screen. And now, Kalafatidis on the counter. Drakos should get there. In fact, it was Vulgaris, correction, who wanted Kalafatidis, the man with the football now. Nothing there on the inside, and Gray had time to clear but took no chances. Northcote's first corner for the afternoon. Exactly 10 minutes played here at John Cain Reserve. And it's the visitors, the Oakleigh Cannons, on top. And make sure you do yourself a favour and check out the highlights package, which will be available on FFV TV as of Monday or Tuesday the latest, and check out Ricky Diaco's goal. You won't see better than that from a set piece. Very much reminded me of Northcote City's own manager, Goran Lozanovski, who finished and set pieces like that in his heyday. And temporary danger there. And that ball holding up in the wind from Chepetta, intended cross, and it looked more like a shot on goal. And there he is again, Chepetta. Walker. Just to give you an update from around the grounds, those games between Melbourne Knights and Richmond, and also Heidelberg and Moreland locked at 0-0. And just to recap scores from round 10 of the Victorian Premier League, it all started Friday night, where the Bentley Greens cemented their spot on second position on the table with a 1-0 victory over South Melbourne. Oakleigh now will regain second position if they can defeat Northcote City here this afternoon. Hume and the Southern Stars and Petropoulos here with the clearance. We'll get back to that in a moment. Well, normally a strength in his game, his clearances. They've let him down once or twice this afternoon. And And Hume City and the Southern Stars drew 1-1. Also on Friday night. And yesterday the Thunder defeated the champions Green Gully by 3-0. Hasn't been the best of grounds for Green Gully in terms of results at George Andrews Reserve. Lovely cross. Piemonte. All that work undone. Now the ball's still alive, and that will be a corner. Well done there. James Calafatidis made something out of nothing. It should have been Italiano's ball. Should have held that. What about the cross? Brilliant vision there to find Piemonte wide. Northcote looking for a foot back in this contest. Down by a goal to nil. Courtesy of Ricky Diaco in the 6th minute. Piemonte's ball. Tall timber there on the back post. Italiano clearing with confidence. And Piemonte knows he can do better than that, but Chipetta's there. Can it be kept alive? It's certainly, in fact, just when I thought it could there by Vulgaris, not to be. In fact, it's eventually offside. It must have been Vulgaris there in that position from Chipetta's flick. Obradovic, now there's a Drakos. Drakos, in fact, rightly so, taking time, not much on offer. Northcote congesting midfield and have been rewarded. But now they need numbers up. Vulgaris really made that look easy. He had to get through some heavy traffic there. Here he is again. And it will be a Northcote throw, not a free kick. Vulgaris was looking for it. Calafatidis. Whipped in, and there's an own goal. Can you believe it? It's off Artie Drakos. Jonathan Vulgaris whipped that ball in. And luckily for Northcote, there was nothing there presenting itself on the inside. But Artie Drakos, unfortunately for Oakleigh, got a foot on it. And Luis Italiano could not do much about that. And Northcote City have only been down for 10 minutes. And it's back again square. 1-1 apiece after 16 minutes. And unfortunately, it's off the boot of Artie Drakos for Oakleigh. Northcote will take it nevertheless. And once again, it's a case of history repeating itself. Here at John Cain Memorial Reserve, two teams which love to score goals against each other, and we've already seen two in the space of 15 minutes. It's game on again, 1-1, Northcote and Oakleigh. Great. Will win the free kick, and that's brought the crowd to light here at John Cain Memorial Reserve. Unfortunately for Drakos, score that own goal. Lovely touch from Diaco. Movement of that football really quick in transition. Here he is again. Good defending there from Savio. Dispossessed Diaco, and that's hard to do. Turning it over quickly, Piemonte. Walker. One of three Walkers in the team. Jeremy, Zach, and also Luke for the Cannons. Petropolis will restart for Northcote. Here's Zorich, formerly of Springvale and South Melbourne. Coming out confidently there, Chipetta ahead of Diaco. And this will hold up nicely for Calafatidis, last week's goal scorer, and able to collect maximum points for Northcote City at South Melbourne. And the Cannons quickly on the counter. Dragicevic. Lovely control. Wants that target once again. Chipetta charging the cross down. Great football all round. A quick update around the grounds while some medical attention is given. And it's still 0-0 between Heidelberg United and Moreland Zebras. And also the Melbourne Knights and Richmond. A massive game, as we mentioned, for Heidelberg and Moreland. The basement teams in the Victorian Premier League. And Heidelberg are 4 points adrift of third last with 5 points. Moreland on 4. And a win for either team will salvage some hope of avoiding relegation. Unable to clear again, and this time only side netting. Savio there, relieved. Jesse Krintrovic there, nearly swooped, only found side netting. And as for the Melbourne Knights and Richmond, we mentioned scores locked at 0-0. Ironically, sitting 9th and 10th, just outside the relegation zone. And tell you what there, Chris Petropoulos not having the best day with his clearances there. Wanted Constantinides, who just wasn't ready for that pass, but luckily Northcote will get out of trouble and nearly threaded that ball nicely. Vulgaris, he'll have a second crack. This time okay, drifting deep. Here's Kalafatidis. Nice build up there from Northcote, just when they thought may have struggled to move that ball forward in the first place. Petropoulos just struggling a touch with this breeze. It is quite stiff. Vulgaris there, giving away the free kick. It's a good pass too from Gray. And that was a vital touch from Chipetta. That was going to find Krichovic, but it frees up a man wide. And Daniel Dragicevic, some holes there in the Northcote City defending, particularly wide. Christian Constantinides just wasn't marking Dragicevic there. At least should have tested Petropoulos. Now got a touch off a Northcote City shot. Will be a corner. Diaco took troubling ball into D'Agostino rather. Clearing it for a corner. What an open game of football we've seen. Barely much of it in midfield. The football at either end of the ground, it's been great to watch. Petropoulos was looking for the infringement. Another corner off his hand. Adi Drakos, unfortunately for he, conceded an own goal. Can he look to assist and give Oakleigh the lead again? They had it for 10 minutes. Punch away from Petropoulos. Fired back in. Goran Zoric there. Just absolutely swooping in from the edge of the box. He's okay after that collision. And in hindsight, Petropoulos, you felt had time to handle that. Opted to punch it clear straight to Zoric, who swooped on it. Just under 25 minutes have lapsed here in this first half in an entertaining contest between Northcote City and the Oakleigh Cannons. Northcote City, if you're just joining our broadcast online, wherever you are worldwide, we trust you're enjoying the coverage. Northcote City in the blue, and a chance for Oakleigh. Krinchovic with pace. Constantinides playing that sweeper role beautifully. The height of Walker prevailing. Zoric, the 1-2, wanted Diaco out muscling him there on that occasion. Chipetta, was that a handball? But it wasn't intentional. I think there's a fair decision there from the referee. Good challenge once again. This time D'Agostino always need to be careful inside the box. Krichovic wanted his feet. And it took two to beat. Krichovic on that occasion, Royas and also Chipetta to the rescue. Here's Royas. Witnessing a great game of football here at John Cain Reserve. And you feel that every time the ball goes either end, there's a chance of a goal. Will it lift up? Will it live up to that occasion with this attack from Northcote? Savio, that touch, just a touch too heavy. Drakos and Savio there had numbers two, particularly on the left. Califatidis was one of them. Diaco. Doyle. Another attack looking promising for the Cannons. Okay. Closing it down. Forcing the Cannons back. Walker. Through okay. That pass. Too light. There on the inside. But Oakleigh have a few men back in their half. One of them's great. Good pressure there from D'Agostino, but won't have the support. And Walker, tell you what, made that look easy too. That wasn't the best of crosses wide from Italiano, and end to end. Now it's back to Petropolis. And now a chance here for Vulgaris. Italiano took the risk, but now his goal is empty. Vulgaris, and I tell you what, Artie Drakos conceded a goal, but he definitely made up for it there. He definitely covered up for Luis Italiano, who questioned the need whether he had to come out of his box because Drakos and also Gray were deep. But it will be a corner for Northcote. Northcote, can they find the lead for the first time this afternoon? It'll be Alex Royas who can whip in a ball, and it's gone through. Can you believe it? He's whipped in a ball that's caused danger. Alex Royas will claim it. Did it get a touch? Off a Northcote City shirt, Alex Royas is claiming it. He's always dangerous with a set piece or a corner. And presto, he's delivered when it's mattered for Northcote. And after trailing, Northcote City have come back with a bang. And it's either going to be an own goal off an Oakleigh shirt, or I'm going to claim it to Alex Royas. That ball from the corner troubled everyone. And we'll wait till we get an official. And here we're going to get in a moment. In fact, there you go. It's come from a Northcote City official who, quote unquote, I'm sure you've heard it, has said no idea. I'm going to give it to Alex Royas. I didn't see a deflection there. Alex Royas from the corner. And he's always dangerous with corners and set pieces. We saw it with Bentley for all those years. And now he's doing it with Northcote. Caused trouble off the corner in Northcote City. Early trouble. After 6 minutes, Ricky Diaco with that set piece. And all of a sudden, leading this contest on the half-hour mark by 2-1. Walker down the line. Here's Piemonte. Needs assistance because there's plenty of white shirts circling in the middle. Oakleigh will regroup. Drakos. And if we do hear from an FFE official at half-time exactly if Royas' corner got a touch off any shirt, we'll keep you posted. Northcote City officials certainly aren't sure themselves. I'm pretty confident Alex Royas will be accredited with the goal, but we'll have that confirmed for you where we can. Walker. Here's Drakos. And just a quick review around the grounds. Heidelberg United and Moreland Zebras locked at 0-0. And so too the Knights and Richmond. And there you have it. Thank you to the FFE. And an official has just come and let us know that, in fact, Royce's corner got a touch off number 12, Hayden D'Agostino, who will be accredited with the goal. So Hayden D'Agostino gifting Northcote the lead on the half-hour mark. 3 goals in half an hour. And there you have it from the officials themselves. D'Agostino getting a touch off Royce's cross. Oh, corner rather. What a game we're witnessing here at John Cain Reserve. We mentioned at the start of the broadcast, these two teams score plenty of goals when they play each other. There's no doubt about it. Last year, in round 1, it was Oakleigh once again at the death, defeating Northcote at Jack Edwards Reserve by 3-2. That should be Petropolis' in his, but regardless, Diaco's offside. And in round 12, as we mentioned last time, Oakleigh and Northcote played. Northcote City 3, Oakleigh 4. What a game it was. Who could forget it? A 92nd minute winner. I think, if my memory serves me correct, it was that man on your screen, Ricky Diaco, who scored the winner. And they've continued to deliver 3 goals. And every time the football is deep in either half, you just sense a goal could be scored. And once again offside. Well, that's interesting call. Looks as though it's Vulgaris who's the culprit. And Italiano, who's got the gloves ahead of Nisham, opts to go direct, but there you go. You're just seeing the full effect of the breeze. That would normally hold up and would have given Krinčević a chance. And there you have it. You're just seeing Petropolis struggling to clear. And Northcote will benefit with this breeze in the second half. Chiappetta, another vital touch, sticking his leg out, denying Diaco any chance. This time, Zoric. Oakleigh with just under 10 minutes with use of these conditions. Bending ball! And he made use of those conditions. Plenty of power. Whipped it in. Just not enough dip at the vital moment. Over the bar. Wonderfully struck. And that's his specialty goal on Zoric. He, Diaco, Krinčević. Wonderful executors of set pieces. We saw that from Diaco. And also from long range. Plenty of finishing disposal under Haas Skandenovic's disposal. New manager at the helm. Former Richmond Eagles assistant. Taking over from Arthur Pappas, who has got the National Youth League job with the Newcastle Jets. And now, Oakleigh, press forward again. And another strike from long range. Hayden Doyle not far off the mark either from a good 20 yards out. And why not, particularly in this breeze. And it's favouring the Cannons. They'll have advantage of it for another 10 minutes. Vulgaris. The rain starting to start at John Cain Reserve. And it's only going to get heavier. And Conditions getting dark, and just heard from a member of the public, turn the lights on. It doesn't look like a bad idea. It really is gloomy conditions and a typical cold winter's day here in Melbourne. Diaco, wide for Krinčević. Petropoulos has time and will need to go long. His clearance has been sliced. And that rain getting heavier, forcing a few of the patrons deep into the grandstand. Solid challenge there from Walker and Piemonte. Walker again made up big ground there to try and track Vulgaris. Royas. Savio. Good pressures from the Cannons. And it's a good ball from Savio, unfortunately. Reading it well. Stephen Gray for Oakleigh. Great defending. Thought that was going to sit nicely there for Piemonte there for a second. Savio, good to see him back and fully fit in this Northcote City squad. Picked up from Adelaide City 2 years ago. Lovely touch there again from Vulgaris. D'Agostino was accredited with Northcote City's second goal. Diaco, space on the inside, well tracked there by D'Agostino. Royas. To Konstantinidis. Nice build up this from Northcote City. And too much on it from Vulgaris, but it will be a corner for Northcote. Nice build-up. And in Vulgaris' defence, nothing there on the inside. Bar Kalafatidis, who was already being marked by two central defenders. So in hindsight, best possible result for Northcote. What a remarkable game of football this has been. Can Northcote extend the margin leading into half-time? Royas' corners have troubled Oakleigh, and they nearly did on that occasion again. Italiano read it well. Royas sends it in again. Kalafatidis just a touch too high for the flick. And he can finish too. Dangerous here, James Kalafatidis. This is absolutely remarkable to say this has been one of the slowest patches of the game. Rarely has the ball been held up in one person's half. Being played at such a free flowing rate and open game too. Just over 5 minutes remaining in the first half. Northcote City leading the Oakleigh Cannons by 2-1. And if you've just joined the broadcast, and it was a bright start for the Cannons. A set piece from just outside the 18-yard box. Beautifully finished on the near post by Ricky Diaco. That gifted the Cannons the lead after 6 minutes, but it was cancelled out 10 minutes later. Unfortunately, an own goal by Ardi Drakos. Scores locked at 1-1. And then a corner on the half-hour mark from Alex Royas. It got a touch from Hayden D'Agostino, the defender turned goal scorer. And Northcote City, after either trailing or even in this contest, hit the lead on the half-hour mark. And that's the difference in this game to date. And a quick update from around the grounds. Heidelberg United and Moreland locked 0-0. So too the Melbourne Knights and Richmond. Half-hour played in both of those games respectively. And you can keep up to date with all the news, results, and happenings in the Victorian and Women's Premier League on the official Facebook and Twitter pages. And Oakleigh, the shot there from Dragicevic, the angle was quite narrow, closed down by Treloar, and the shot sprayed. Good defending there from Northcote. As I thought, Chris Petropoulos to restart. Just a quick reminder, if you haven't heard the latest from round 10 in the Victorian Premier League, the results are as follows. The Bentley Greens defeating South Melbourne by a goal to nil and cementing second spot in the Victorian Premier League. And Hume City, once again, in a slight upset, only drawing with the Southern Stars. That's a great result for the newly promoted Southern Stars, who leapfrogged South Melbourne into 7th position on the Victorian Premier League table. And yesterday, it was the league leaders and runaway league leaders, Dandenong Thunder, convincingly over the champions Green Gully by 3 goals to nil. And that result sees them 8 points adrift because of Bentley's win on Friday night too. In fact, let me start that again. 8 points ahead of the Bentley Greens in 2nd position. But Oakleigh, even though they're down in this contest by 2 goals to 1, will have a say in how the ladder looks and is shaped after round 10 of the Victorian Premier League. Gray puts it on the plate for Doyle. Doyle was really impressive in last year's grand final. Both he, Ricky Diaco and Obradovic standouts for the Cannons. And now Northcote City can hit on the counter, but they'll need to be quick. Lovely touch. Vulgaris intercepted by Drakos, but he is okay. Thought about finishing. It'll be a narrow finish for Kalafatidis. Nothing there on the inside. Piemonte came too late. Good football all round. Royas finds that room on the inside. And is directing traffic too for Treloar. Tells him to send it back, and that's exactly what he does. Just to about on the verge of stoppage time in this first half. And it's the visitors, the Oakleigh Cannons, trailing after leading North City early on. And they're trailing Northcote by 2 goals to 1. And the rain has eased, but it's still spitting. It's a greasy pitch, greasy football. And Northcote will have the full advantage of a stiff breeze blowing from right to left of your screen. Chapetta. Okay. It's been impressive this half. And beat 2. And you don't beat Obradovic or Zoric easily. Well done from OK. Great build-up this from Northcote again. OK. This time will need some assistance. Rather finds that target on the back post. And not sitting there for Vulgaris. But Northcote will press again. Just a touch too much, you thought, from D'Agostino. Now Italiano will come out and hold that with ease. Great play there from Paris OK. Northcote didn't have much there to attack along the right flank. OK beat 2. And pardon the pun, made it look okay. Into stoppage time now at John Cain Reserve. Northcote City, you think, will hold the advantage, leading 2-1. And speaking of goals, we can provide you an update from Olympic Village. And it's bad news for Heidelberg United. Moreland Zebras up in a relegation battle by 1-0. A goal on the stroke of half-time will gift the Zebras the advantage. Danger signs for Heidelberg United. Could be relegated, and a 7-year stint in Victoria's top flight could be under threat, but there's a long way to go. Just on the verge of the halfway mark of the season. But it's the last place on earth you want to be. At the basement of the table, cleared by Chipetta. And for the record, that game is a stalemate between the Melbourne Knights and Richmond, 0-0. Oakleigh, you think with one of the last rolls of the dice to find an equaliser. Walker wanted Diaco, but here's Zorich, will need the leap. And they'll press again, the Cannons, with the throw. Walker will take it yet again. Walker, deja vu, wanted Diaco, but couldn't find him. Will send it in deep. And, well, that's interesting. The flag's gone up for offside, but it looked more like an infringement. Krinčević there on Chipetta. And what about that for a sight? Despite the gloomy weather conditions, a beautiful rainbow being cast here at John Cain Reserve. And is there a pot of gold at the end of this rainbow for Northcote City? Time will tell. What are the last attacks you think it'll be for the half? Desperately cleared by Gray. Diaco, sheer strength. Good vision there on the inside. Thought he was going to opt for Zorich, but it's free up. Doyle towards Dragicevic. Great ball whipped in. Well cleared by D'Agostino. He's had a great first half. He's defended everything that's come his way, plus scored himself. Can't ask for too much more than that. Would go on Lozanovsky. And they've got numbers 2, Northcote. That was a vital interception from Gray. Too deep there for Kalafatidis. And Northcote City, one thing's for certain, you know you're going to get a workmanlike performance week in, week out. A club that doesn't necessarily have the wealth or resources compared to other teams in the Victorian Premier League, but ever since they enjoyed dual promotions from Divisions 2 and 1 respectively 4 years ago, to say they've been amazing has been an understatement. They've definitely found their feet in the Victorian Premier League, consolidated their spot, even played finals football under the guidance of Peter Salakis and also now Goran Lozanovsky. Ari Drakos, as we mentioned, deep into stoppage time. A deep ball and well guided Chris Petropoulos. And the referee had a quick look at his watch, thought he was going to signal half-time there for a moment, but wants a new ball, a new football to restart proceedings. Just before half-time, we'll just give you a quick recap around the grounds here at John Cain Memorial Reserve. It's Northcote City leading Oakleigh by 2-1. Heidelberg United. And here's an update for you. A goal has just been scored again at Olympic Village. And it's Moreland leading Heidelberg United by 2-0. And it's a stalemate, 0-0 between the Melbourne Knights and Richmond. And Heidelberg United season going from bad to worse. And Getting a flick off Chibetta's head. Treloar will deny the corner. Well, he cleared that ball hoping for the best and he got it. Straight to Piemonte. And Northcote somehow get out of their half, but it won't be for long. Desperation there from Savio. That was going to land on Doyle's foot. And an attack was looming. Doyle. Well, remarkably, we're getting close to just under 50 minutes played in this first half. Flicked on again, Kručević. Wanted the 1-2 between he and Dragicevic. It was a bit ambitious there from Kručević. Into Northcote's relief, a throw. Agostino. Once okay on the inside. Oakleigh with the numbers. Italiano. And there you have it. In an entertaining first half, Northcote City have come from behind to lead proceedings here at John Cain Memorial Reserve. And they're leading the Oakleigh Cannons by 2-1. And just a quick recap. It was Ricky Diaco that gifted the Cannons a lead on the 6-minute mark, but it was quickly cancelled out 10 minutes later. Unfortunately, an own goal from Adi Drakos, and Hayden D'Agostino gifted Northcote the lead on the half-hour mark. And it's Northcote City leading the Oakleigh Cannons by 2-1. Do join us in just over 10 minutes' time with all the live action here from John Cain Memorial Reserve, and we'll be back with you shortly. Welcome back to John Kay Memorial Reserve for all the action from the second half between Northcote City and the Oakleigh Cannons. And the Oakleigh Cannons will be kicking off proceedings, the visitors. And after a positive start for the Cannons, that man who's about to kick off proceedings, Ricky Diaco, make sure you do yourself a favour during the week. Jump on to FFE TV, either through the Football Federation of Victoria website or YouTube, and check out that man's goal after 6 minutes to gift the Cannons the lead in this contest. It was definitely one of the goals of the season from a set piece. Good 20 yards out. You won't see better finishes than that. And to Northcote City's credit, fantastic comeback. They did not put a foot wrong when trailing against the Cannons, and were rewarded 10 minutes later. Unfortunately, that man who just cleared for the Cannons, Andre Dracos, scored an own goal. Couldn't do much about it. Walker had his ball whipped in. Vulgaris, and it's a good ball too. Italiano will clear. In fact, did it well. Thought he was just going to go for the long ball. Hayden D'Agostino, for the record, scored on the half-hour mark. And forgot to make mention too that if you want to check out not only Ricky Diaco's goal, but all the goals from this afternoon's game, and also the best from the Women's Premier League, make sure you check out, if you particularly live in Melbourne, on Channel 31, or if you have digital TV, Channel 44, Extra Time, Tuesday nights, Channel 31. Check your local guides for details. Cleared by Italiano. In fact, it's Royas. He's been great for Northcote this afternoon. Oakleigh looking for an equaliser. And just trying to think off memory if Northcote have defeated Oakleigh since their promotion to the Victorian Premier League 4 years ago. And I can't think of a victory, to be honest, so some history could be set for Northcote this afternoon, should they either hold on to this lead or extend it. Petropolis, and check out the difference in that clearance, courtesy of the breeze. Much easier conditions for Chris Petropolis this half. Italiano, his life will be made difficult kicking against it. Nice control. Piemonte did all the hard work. Couldn't keep that finish down or accurate. Would have preferred to have struck that on his right boot. Force wide on the left. And there you have it. It wasn't just Chris Propolis experiencing those difficulties in the first half. Luis Italiano, he's just finding out himself the difficulties of kicking into this breeze. Nearly drew the corner there. Vulgaris, good defending there from the Cannons, but they're not out of trouble yet. Savio, charged down by Walker. Here's Jeremy Walker. The Cannons with the throw. Walker. And unfortunately, off camera, Califatiti's injured. Hopefully for his sake he's okay. This could be a bitter blow for Northcote. And collided in a fair challenge. There's no malice in it. And in fact, good sportsmanship there from Luke Walker, just making sure the man that he collided into was okay. And he is. Good to see from James Calatafidis, and good sportsmanship all round. And Italiano, in fact, you heard that from here. Directed proceedings. Italiano came out confidently there, and that could have been a dangerous ball to deal with. And the second it was struck, let alone deflected, called for it and got it. Battle of the paces here between Doyle and also Royas. Kričević. Oh, what about that turn and control from Royas? There's your definition of sexy football. Northcote pressing forward. And Oakleigh, they've had to turn deep to their defence. Last 3 or 4 attacks, Northcote have started this half positively. And the search for a new football will be on that well and deep into the outer fields where games of junior football are progressing. Adjacent here to John Cain Memorial Reserve. Piemonte. Diaco. The Cannons, in fact, Royas thought that may have collected Diaco in the process, but he got the football. That is definition of a great tackle in front of the referee. And now, Vulgaris whips it in. It gets the corner. In fact, Vulgaris there, he had okay deep and unmarked on the back post. Northcote with his second corner for the half. Cleared there by Gray. Kričević deep and with pace. Diaco, lovely 1-2, and fortunately there for Kričević. Wanted his target, Zoric. The pass just wasn't accurate enough. Italiano. Trigijevic. He wanted Diaco. Once again, this game opening up. Constantinidis will need assistance. Wow, that was a great ball squared. I thought Constantinidis would have even pressed it further back to Petropoulos, but didn't. Somehow found that space there on the inside to Chipetta. Savio dispossessed. And Chipetta, well, thought that was the best possible option. Nothing there in midfield. And wasn't going to use Petropoulos. Gray. Opts to go direct. Petropoulos. And here you go. You just saw the wind holding that up. He was forced to come out. A lot done between Treloar and Piemonte there. In fact, Fulgaris. Kričević was looking for the free, and good call there from the assistant and the referee. Not much in it at all. Thought it may have been some niggling there. Diaco. And a gap potentially appearing in the Northcote defence, but not for long. That man in contention for man of the match, Hayden D'Agostino. Diaco, you know something's going to happen when he has the football. Dragicevic whips it in. A chance there for the Cannons to finish, and somehow no forward there on the inside of the 6-yard box. And Northcote relieved. But it all started with Diaco. Brought the ball forward. Great run there from Dragicevic. Whipped it in. But it's hard not there to finish. And just to recap, over 55 minutes played here at John Cain Reserve. And it's Northcote, the hosts, leading Oakleigh by 2-1. And OK, caught offside. And a quick recap around the grounds this afternoon. Heidelberg United in strife, and they're trailing the Moreland Zebras by 2-0 at Olympic Village. Both goals scored in the first half, and the Melbourne Knights and Richmond still locked at 0-0. Second half commenced at Summer Street 2, and here at John Cain Memorial Reserve, it's Northcote 2, Oakleigh 1. Plenty of time for the Cannons to get back in this contest. It's a good ball to Diaco. Lovely control. Laid it off for Doyle. Ricky Diaco. Brilliant assist there. Unfortunately, Doyle just couldn't finish off that hard work. And Chris Petropoulos will restart, but Jesse Kričević looking to the bench. Hopefully it's not injury in his instance. Hopefully he's okay. Or is he on the cusp of being subbed? Time will tell. Huskindenovic hasn't used any of his substitutions, nor has Goran Lozanovski for that matter. Doyle had it intercepted, and correct decision from the referee. Was being held, allowed the advantage to occur. It didn't eventuate in the end. Royce, some niggling between he and Doyle, who's looked dangerous every time he's had the football. Now, Diaco scored from a similar range in the first half with that set piece. What can he do here? To say Oakleigh need a goal's an understatement. They're trailing 2-1. Diaco will need to get around the wall and place that strike to do it, but couldn't keep it down. Bit of an anti-climax there, considering the quality of the finish that we saw in the first half. And there you have it. You may have just heard that on our effects mic, but the Melbourne Knights have just clinched the lead against the Richmond Eagles at Summer Street, and they're leading that game by a 1-0. So all three games this afternoon with goals scored, and so too for the round. A quick recap: the Bentley Greens over South Melbourne, 0-0. It was 1-1 between Hume City and the Southern Stars, and the Dandenong Thunder, runaway league leaders now, convincing 3-0 winners over the Green Gully Cavaliers. And as for today's games to conclude round 10 of the Victorian Premier League here at John Cain Memorial Reserve. Northcote City 2, Oakleigh 1. And the Melbourne Knights, as we just mentioned, in front against the Richmond Eagles by a goal to nil. And also Heidelberg United down against Moreland by 2 goals to nil. And you think this game here, the way it's being played, there are definitely some more goals in the mix. History suggests it, and the way this game's being played suggests it too. It's just a matter of which way it's going to go. We nearly saw a third there for Northcote. Sweetly struck there from Paris O'Kate. Straight into the arms, however, of Luis Italiano for the Cannons. And obvious free kick there for the referee to point out. I mean, mind you, hasn't had much to do with the whistle this afternoon. It's been a great game of football, and the Moreland Zebras have scored a third against the Heidelberg United. And Heidelberg United, season going from bad to worse, and that result, unfortunately for Heidelberg, and Chris Petropoulos there, we'll get back to Heidelberg in a moment, nearly blushed. Touch wood for him, holding that football the second time round, but now Northcote turning defence into attack. Not for long. Calafatides, good to see him back up in one piece as well. And we mentioned Heidelberg United down 3-0, unless there's a miracle. And that result will elevate Moreland from the bottom of the Victorian Premier League table, where they've been for most of the season thus far. And they could be 2 points clear of Heidelberg at the end of round 10. And now Ricky Diaco being substituted. And it's Zach Walker, number 14, coming on to replace Ricky Diaco, who isn't happy with the substitution. There's that about it. Frustrated on the bench. And that ball whipped in from Vulgaris. Didn't get a boot off an Oakleigh defender. And it will be Italiano's kick. Okay. Thought he had claims there for a free kick, but once again, refereeing has been superb this afternoon. Okay. Northcote with a second crack in this piece of play to forge a shot on goal and getting through some heavy traffic. There was Vulgaris. Oakleigh defending deep. Savio. Well, he had the chance to play it back, but Zoric, unfortunately for him, couldn't keep that alive over touch. Relief there for Paul Savio. Dracos missed it, but once again, numbers deep for the Cannons. Good pressure there from Calafatides. Forced a turnover. And spotting Italiano off his line. That would have been a goal to remember there from Jonathan Vulgaris. Wow. And that wasn't far off the mark. A foot lower. And that would have been in the back of the net. Sweetly struck from long range there. Perfectly placed. Just the height troubled him. And Jonathan Vulgaris nearly with a goal to remember in his career. Looking to apply the pressure again on Italiano. who this time lays it short. Just over 25 minutes remaining in this contest. It's the Oakleigh Cannons with the work to do. They're trailing Northcote City by 2 goals to 1. If you're just joining the live stream, Northcote with the football in the blue shirt. The Cannons in their away white kit, who, for the record, wear a blue strip at home too. Going the direct route, Walker. Too much there for Krinčević. And Krinčević scored last week in the State Knockout Cup, but it wasn't enough. And now a chance here for Northcote to extend their lead, and unable to finish it, but it's still an open goal, and beautifully saved there from Luis Italiano. Christian Constantinides had the chance there to finish. The first shot let him down. Italiano initially cleared, and what about that save there? Instinctive save there from Luis Italiano. Just stuck his arm out, and it was enough to deny Northcote a third, and you think, put this game out of reach for the Cannons. Northcote with a corner, and this time the header wide. Constantinides again. What a game of football we're seeing this afternoon at John Cain Memorial Reserve. Northcote could easily be up 3 goals to 1, and if the Cannons salvage a draw, or who knows which way this game's going to go, you really don't know. Every time, as we've mentioned, the ball goes forward either end, you think a goal is going to be scored, but if the Cannons get something out of this game, they will definitely acknowledge that save from Luis Italiano as a critical moment in the game, because the damage surely looked worse for Oakleigh. Krinčević, as we mentioned, scored last week against the Altona Magic in that State Knockout Cup match. But in an upset, the Magic progress through to round 6, defeating the Cannons at home. Zoric. This is where he's dangerous with pace. Good tackle again. One of the candidates for man of the match. Both he and that man, OK, have been great for Northcote this afternoon. Piemonte whipping it in. OK, keeps it alive. Italiano again there. In a vital position too on that near post. Califatidis there was unmarked and would have been onside, and that surely would have been number 3 for Northcote. And a risky move there from Petropoulos. What a game. Savio. And it's a good ball too. This will sit for Califatidis. Problem is, he'll need to do it himself. Califatidis nearly got through the defences there of Thrakos. And the crowd on complete edge here. It's a crowd that, the way they're reacting, you think there's only 2 or 3 minutes remaining in this contest. And there's over 20 remaining. Every time there's an attack, you think a goal's going to be scored. It's that type of game this afternoon that we're seeing first on hand, and we trust you're enjoying the coverage wherever you are worldwide. What a performance these two teams have put on in the past. Oakleigh and Northcote, goals galore. We mentioned they scored 5 in the season opener last year. Oakleigh were triumphant by 3 goals to 2. And what a game last year. Northcote losing in the 92nd minute to the Cannons 4-3. And this game living up to expectations again, and this time Goran Lozanovski turning his attention to the bench. Now it looks like Matthew Demo that will be coming on. We'll have it confirmed for you in a moment. And what a game this man's had. Last fortnight's goal scorer, James Califatidis, hasn't made an impact on the scoreboard this afternoon. But he definitely played his role. He's coming off. And it definitely is Matthew Demo coming on for Northcote City, number 19. He'll be replacing Kalafatidis up front. He's okay. Good refereeing once again. Not buying into OK, who fell without the football. And a corner for the Cannons. Now, I'm not sure what OK's on about here. It was definitely the correct decision from the referee. And the referee has been on the money, to say the least, up there with the standard and performance of both teams this afternoon. What a great game we've witnessed all round. And the bonus news is there's still 15 minutes to go. Drakos with the corner. Final touch. Chris Petropoulos with that punch. Gray was lurking there on the back post. Zoric. Couldn't buy time on the turn there, Krinčević. Searching for options, Walker. Will be a Cannons throw. And it's just been a huge anomaly seeing a stoppage in this play. Walker there taking quite a while with the throw, and it's been quite uncharacteristic considering the rate at this game and the pace this game's been played at. It's been non-stop from minute one. Walker. Once again, a great build-up this from the Cannons, and it's going to sit nicely here for Dragicevic, and a great save there from Petropoulos. Boy, he looked a bit uncertain in the first half, but hasn't he come to life in the second? They're not out of trouble yet, Northcote. On the half volley, couldn't hold it down, Doyle. Dragicevic has posed problems for Northcote this half. Now, that definitely was a free kick. Vulgaris. He's unconvinced why, but he was ready to give his opponent there a bear hug, Stephen Gray. It may sound like a broken record, but once again, refereeing on the money. Lovely 1-2, Dragicevic towards the back post, and Petropoulos again. And this time Gray lurking on that back post. Perfect delivery, Dragicevic. And now Oakleigh going through a purple patch just when it looked like Northcote, every time they had the football, were going to score, and they had two great opportunities, Constantidis and Vulgaris. 10 minutes ago, superbly denied by Luis Italiano. This time it's Petropoulos to the rescue for Northcote City on two occasions. Okay, good flick. It was okay. And I think, well, we'll just wait until we'll see what this piece of play reveals. Well, greatly defended under pressure there from Chipeta, and it's opened up Northcote again. And some holes in the Oakleigh defence, and unfortunately Vulgaris. What a great build-up. He had the new substitute there, Demo. He was looking to finish there on the inside. One thing I was about to mention too, you just haven't had the chance to really provide any comment in this game because it's just been packed with action from minute one. But one thing I'll definitely take out of this game, it doesn't matter if Northcote's sitting in fifth or Oakleigh second or third on the table, it really is going to be an open Victorian Premier League contest to decide this year's champion clear. We saw Hume City really control proceedings a fortnight ago against Richmond. They're definitely in the mix, sitting in 4th. You never write off the champions Green Gully in 6th. Bentley have been a surprise packet this year. And Northcote, despite the losses in off-season, have proved a formidable lineup this year under the guidance of Goran Lozanowski. And what about Dean Piemonte there? Through some traffic, through 2 midfielders, has drawn a throw deep. Just over 10 minutes remaining. And Northcote in the box seat. But history suggests Oakleigh score at the end. In these contests, can they do the same thing again? Or will Northcote defy the trend? Demo may have been offside there. Zorich. And he put Vulgaris there under pressure. And Vulgaris, well, there's some basics there. He had the time. All he had to be was in line with that man there, Ari Drakos. Northcote, just over 10 minutes remaining in this contest, leading the Oakleigh Cannons by 2-1. Vulgaris' corner. Goran Lozanowski, frustrated but at the same time encouraging Vulgaris on. And a quick check around grounds. Heidelberg United still trailing the Moreland Zebras by 3-0, and that will be Moreland's 2nd victory for the season, you feel. And Drakos, nearly a piece of dangerous play, but Vulgaris, can he find an opening? An open goal here, and Italiano made another vital save just when you thought Demo was going to finish it unmarked. Tell you what, Luis Italiano, you know exactly why he's keeping Daniel Neesham out of the squad. 2 vital saves. If Oakleigh are to find an equaliser, who knows the way this game's going to go, can they score? 2 goals in just under 10 minutes. Luis Italiano is definitely going to take credit for this, but the chips are stacked against Oakleigh, trailing by 2-1. Walker. Drakos or Italiano should get there. Sits nicely just for Italiano inside his box. Walker. Well, that just sums up the performance from Northcote today. Good pressure there from Piemonte. The likes of he and also Vulgaris have constantly pressured the Oakleigh defence. Obradovic. Wide to Zod. Walker. Good placement. And Jesse Krinčević, for such a talented player, only element of his game that must frustrate him is his temper. Just a little nudge there into his opponent, Diego Stino. In fact, it was Konstantinides. Take that back. It's that little nudge there from Krinčević. Okay. Great leap to win that football over Obradovic. Drakos. Well controlled there from Krinčević too. Laid it on a plate for Doyle. Lovely build up this. Dragicevic takes on Treloar. Well defended by the ladder for a corner. And it certainly could have been more dangerous than that. Drakos. What a finale we have here. Just under 5 minutes left here at John Cain Memorial Reserve. And the Cannons looking for a point at minimum to claim third spot on the Victorian Premier League table. They could lose second if the result stands like this. Northcote City, on the other hand, looking to consolidate their spot in the 5 and overtake Hume City. And OK has been superb, and that's an understatement for Northcote this afternoon. He and D'Agostino standouts. It's been a great team effort. And as we mentioned, Northcote currently on 16 points. And an opportunity, can you believe this, to leapfrog Hume and Oakleigh. After round 9, Oakleigh were sitting in second position, but that could change depending on results. Northcote looking for that vital goal that will fend off Oakleigh once and for all. But as we mentioned, Oakleigh have a history of scoring at the death, and had to be careful there with that challenge. OK, Oakleigh do score at the death against Northcote. They've had a history of it. And Alex Royce, we've spoke about key pieces of defending, whether that been some of the goalkeeping we've seen this afternoon, and that's right up there in the mix. And another substitution being made for the Oakleigh Cannons. This time, Dragicevic coming off, number 25. And it's Murazari Nayadazo coming on, number 24. Nayadzayo, I'm going to take that back. Moyandazi Nayadzayo, number 24. Take 2. As the rain starts to trickle against Savio. A nudge for the Cannons. Just under 5 minutes left in what has been an enthralling contest. And the way and the rate this game's been played at, don't be surprised there's at least a goal or two left in this contest. Walker, it's a good ball too to the new substitute Walker and Petropoulos. What a big second half both goalkeepers have had, Petropoulos and Italiano, for their clubs respectively. This game could easily be 4-5, 5-4 at the least. And the fact that some of the finishers just haven't found the target, but really the quality of the goalkeeping has kept this game to 2-1 at the moment. That shot skewed by Piemonte. Goran Lozanovski just looking to milk down the clock. Looking to the bench again. And it looks like Ricardo Gonzalez coming on. That's definitely the case. Number 17. The question is, who's coming off? You think it will be a midfielder, and that's exactly who it is. Dean Piemonte. To a warm applause from the players and also the spectators on the outer hill at John Cain Memorial Reserve. He's had a very serviceable game for Northcote City. Now, whilst that substitution takes place, we'll give you a quick update from around the grounds in round 10 of the Victorian Premier League. And in fact, Jonathan Vulgaris coming off, a double substitution. And Alvaro Gorillo coming on, number 6 for Northcote. So Northcote executing all of their substitutions. Had a handy time too for Goran Lozanovsky as the referee looks at his clock and acknowledges, yes, we're just on the verge of hitting stoppage time in this contest, and you think there'll be a good 2 to 3 minutes of it. And getting back to around the grounds, Northcote leading Heidelberg by 3-0 away. That's a big win for the Zebras. Melbourne Knights still holding on to that advantage against Richmond. They're leading by 1-0. And Richmond, so strong at home, but so vulnerable away. Struggle to collect points away from home, the Eagles. And it may continue to be the case. That's a big win for the Melbourne Knights, considering that both Richmond and the Knights just sitting outside of the basement. And an opening here for Oakleigh. And can you believe it? They've scored at the death again. This is a case of history repeating itself, and it's Jesse Krinčević. Can you believe it? He scored last week in the State Knockout Cup, and he's come to the rescue again when it matters. Northcote cannot shake this hoodoo against the Cannons, and it's Jesse Krinčević at the rescue at the 11th hour in stoppage time in the 91st minute. To the Oakleigh Cannons rescue. Can you believe it? It's a great finish from Jesse Krinčević. And once again, this game, you just don't know which way it's going to go. We mentioned there was at least a goal or two left, and it would not surprise me if we're going to see another one in stoppage time. Okay. Italiano spilt it. Demo nearly got it. Flicked away from Drakos. Zoric. And as silly as it sounds, there's at least 2 or 3 minutes remaining. Plenty of time for either team to score. And now, it's the new substitute. Nayed Zayo. Down the line. Walker. What a remarkable victory this will be, and a big case of deja vu. This is exactly what they did last season on this very ground, but in that instance defeated Northcote by 4-3. Ball whipped in, a tall timber Chipetta prevailing, and that was nearly a perfect place header from Walker. Once again, Chipetta, who's wearing the captain's armband, putting in a captain-like performance. Okay, speaking of performances, that man, okay, has been brilliant for Northcote. Savio. Solid challenge. And now the Cannons. There's a great chance to hit on the counter. Just couldn't do so, but now, yet again, it's Northcote's turn. Okay. Can he find a way through? And that was a handball, and the referee spotted it. We spoke about the refereeing being on the money this afternoon, and the referee did not miss a beat there. The correct call given, and just when we spoke about Oakleigh scoring at the death, well, Northcote can shake off this hoodoo against the Cannons and literally score at the death in what has been the most enthralling of contests. We've called it right. Okay, can really cap off this game. What a performance it's been. And remarkably, look who's there in the crowd to cheer him on. Jonathan Vulgaris is there in the crowd. Can you believe it? Paris, okay. It really is a raffle between he and D'Agostino to be capped man of the match. He definitely deserves a goal. Okay. He assisted, won the penalty. Can he finish it now? Okay, this stands between 3 points. And he sends Italiano the wrong way. Okay. And Paris, okay, has gifted Northcote, you think, will be the winner with just under a minute to go. But the way this game has panned out, you do not know what's going to eventuate after the kickoff. Oakleigh are all ready to kick off proceedings. They're just going to have to wait for Northcote to get back in their half. Paris, okay, has converted off the spot. There you have it. In the 92nd minute, Paris Oakleigh has converted off the spot, and this seesaw affair continues. Northcote City 3, Oakleigh 2. Good challenge. And the elbow was up, and Demo's not happy about it, but refereeing again spot on. Now, the sense of frustration creeping in there for Doyle. Time ticking down for the Cannons. And they have a knack of doing this. Dracos, it should be Petropolis's. And just slightly blinded there by Gray. And also the weather doing him no favours as well. The rain continuing to bucket down. Walker. Okay, could have been nudged. And if there's going to be any man to clear that football for Northcote, it's okay. He's capped off a man of the match performance for my liking. Paris okay. Walker. And Northcote, should this result stand, remarkably, will sit in outright third on the table. And is there a chance here for a fourth? Vizzardi squared in, straight to Italiano. What a game this is. End-to-end football, and it's not over yet. And you think there'll be at least a minute remaining. Okay, can hold it up. But there's still openings. And the correct decision again. The assistant on the mark, Demo, clearly offside. I've got to say, not only is the standard of this football being first class this afternoon, but the refereeing has been exceptional. Very, very high quality performance from the men in charge. Fish out in this contest, they've just let it go. And we have been rewarded with 5 goals. And a game of football that you sometimes wish won't end. That's how good it's been. Noedzano down the line. Now, Krinčević doesn't have the pace to knock off Chipetta. And the referee looking at his watch. This will surely be one of the last rolls of the dice for the Cannons. Krinčević not through Chipetta. This will be a big, big 3 points for Northcote. Should they be able to hold on? And it'll really be a platform to set up their season. They'll leapfrog rather the likes of Hume City and Oakleigh and be sitting in third position on the table. Who would have thought that? Particularly after round 10 of the Victorian Premier League. But the Cannons aren't done with yet. In search of a point. And this crowd on edge here at John Cain Memorial Reserve, just pleading for the referee to blow that whistle. And once again, dangerous play. The referee on the spot. And just to give you a quick update, we've got full time at Summer Street. The Melbourne Knights triumphant by 1-0 over Richmond. And Moreland will collect the points against Heidelberg, leading by 3-0. That game not over with yet. Italiano will clear, will have to go long, but this really could spell full time. The referee looking at his whistle again, at his watch rather, but we're not finished with yet. Here at John Cain Memorial Reserve, Walker needs to get that ball out of there, plays it quickly. Royce, okay, what a game, to say the least. Vizzardi, Savio, Trelaw, and there you have it. Full-time is signal, and Northcote City have defied history. Normally it's Oakleigh scoring at the death Every time these clubs have squared off the last couple of years, but this time it's Northcote City with the final laugh, courtesy of a penalty scored in the 92nd minute, converted by Paris Oakleigh, and it has simply concluded a brilliant game of football to conclude round 10 of the Victorian Premier League. A seesaw affair, 5 goals delivered, and unfortunately for Oakleigh, they're at the wrong end of it. They have been defeated by Northcote City by 3 goals to 2. And for the record, Oakleigh Cannons, the goal scorers, Jesse Krinchevich and Ricky Diaco. And for Northcote City, it was an own goal scored by Ari Drakos, and goals to Hayden D'Agostino in the first half, and a penalty converted by Paris Oakleigh, and it has finished off 3 goals to 2 here at John Cain Memorial Reserve. And that result sees Northcote propel to outright third position after round 10 on the Victorian Premier League table, leapfrogging the likes of Hume City and also the Oakleigh Cannons, ironically. And the top 3 looks like the Dandenong Thunder, the Bentley Greens and Northcote City. Not too many pundits would have predicted that after round 10 of the Victorian Premier League. We trust you've enjoyed the coverage here from John Cain Memorial Reserve. Please do join us next week for round 11, and what a derby we have for you on offer at Lakeside Stadium next week. It's the big one, South Melbourne up against Heidelberg, and Heidelberg will be looking for a victory, eager to rebound that big loss to Moreland Zebras this afternoon, rather. Well, from me, Simon McCuskey, it's good night from John Cain Memorial Reserve, where Northcote City have got up in a thriller against the Oakleigh Cannons by 3 goals to 2. Good night.